I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Annapolis City Council to order on Monday, today, the 12th of September, at 7:02. At this time, I will give the invocation in place of Alderman Savage, who's not with us this evening. He's sick. We have all been watching the news and recognize what's going on in England, celebrating the death of the Queen of England. And yesterday, in all of the United States and probably around the world, everyone acknowledged and recognized the tragedy that befell our country on September 11th. And so I'm going to ask that we all take a moment of silence and send our wishes and prayers to those who were impacted. Thank you. At this time, will everyone willing and able please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Mayor Buckley? Alderwoman Tierney?
Here.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Present.
Alderwoman Kendall-Charles?
Here.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Present.
Alderman Shannon Meyer?
Present.
Alderman Gay?
Here.
Alderman Savage? Alderman Arnett?
Present.
Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. So sorry. I knew it. Alderwoman Finlayson?
Present.
Alderwoman Tierney?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Aye. Alderwoman Kendall-Charles?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer?
Aye.
Alderman Gay?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Thank you.
Record mine as an aye, please.
Alderwoman Finlayson? Yes,
Thank
okay.
you.
Sorry.
Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is a ceremonial item, ID 19122, citation for journalist and author Anil Sorel.
Would you join me at the table, please, Mr. Sorel? It is a pleasure to present to you the City Council citation, and it reads, on behalf of the residents of the City of Annapolis, we're pleased to confer upon you the City Council citation in recognition of the success of your writings as a White House and Pentagon correspondent and the author of the book, Why Did I Come to America? Turks Who Left the Traces in America. In the book, you chronicle the lives of Turkish immigrants who have made successful lives in professional fields, including science, sports, and music. This is one of the best-selling Turkish books in the United States, and it was produced by a writer who calls America and Annapolis home. We congratulate you on your success and wish you much more personal and professional success in Annapolis and America. Presented to Anil Sorel this 12th day of September 2022, and it's signed by all members of the City Council. Congratulations. Would you like to make some remarks?
dear member of the City Council, and dear guest, thank you so much. It is a great honor for me to be here and this recognition from great city. It is too important for me as a journalist and as an immigrant. It is too much, and it is really important for me. I'm gonna accept this really important citation, and thank you so much for your great recognition to me. Thank you so much. Would you like to be on picture together?
Please, come up.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And would you introduce your family to us?
Sure. My fiance, Ronaldo, she's a journalist too. And my friends from Turkey, we became family here when we were out of country, and we became family here for years. We live here also.
Oh, wonderful. Well, welcome over. We celebrate our.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, will you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is petitions, reports, and communications, beginning with update from the mayor.
Well, I'm clearly not Mayor Buckley, but he has left his remarks, and so I'll read them. And it begins by saying, I want to wish our mayor and his wife, Julie, a very happy 25th wedding anniversary. So now you know why he's probably not here tonight. So we wish them congratulations, absolutely. This weekend at City Dock and locations around Annapolis, including Maryland Hall, Rams Head, and MC3, it's the Annapolis Singer-Songwriter Festival, kicking off Friday and including some of the top acts in the music industry, but also songwriting workshops and free performances. Please check the website for details and to find whatever tickets are available. The address is AnnapolisSongwritersFestival.com. This is the companion to the highly successful Key West Singer-Songwriter Festival, now in its 27th year. On the following weekend, we will celebrate the Kunta Kinte Festival, also at City Dock. Last week, Mayor Buckley, with other dignitaries, welcomed the new Harriet Tubman statue out in front of the Banneker Douglas Museum. This artwork was created by Dr. Joyce Scott and has spent time at locations around Maryland. Annapolis is her home for the next year. At that event, the city of Annapolis proclaimed September as Underground Railroad Month. September is also Recovery Month, a national event to increase public awareness surrounding mental health and addiction recovery. In recognition of Recovery Month, City Hall will be lit in purple at night throughout the month of September. And you'll notice our lights are already on. I want to remind folks that the fall boat shows are coming up on October 6th through the 9th for the Powerboat Show, and October 13th through the 17th as the Sailboat Show. If you're coming downtown, the best bet for parking is to reserve at one of the city garages and take the free shuttle. Visit AnnapolisPark.com to learn more. The city is sponsoring the second annual Youth Poetry Contest. Again, this year, it will result in a published book of poetry available at the Michael E. Bush Public Library. We are hoping to get young people to participate. Please visit the city website and use the keywords Poetry Contest to find more information. Hispanic Heritage Month starts on September 15th and goes until October 15th. Check out the flags of Latino, Hispanic nations on Main Street and visit the city's online calendar for events and activities happening all around the city. October will conclude with our very own popular Day of the Dead at Maryland Hall with food, music, performances, and dancing. And lastly, as a reminder, the fourth Monday of the month is traditionally our second city council meeting. However, this month, that is a Jewish holiday. So instead of the fourth Monday, we'll have our second meeting on the second Monday. Nope, that's today, the third Monday, which will be next Monday, the 19th. So just as a reminder to all of us, the next city council meeting is on Monday, the 19th, 1 week from today. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is reports by committee.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Great. The Transportation Committee's next meeting is Wednesday, September 14th at 4 p.m. here in Chamber. Two items on our agenda. One will be a report and discussion on the Anne Arundel County School transportation, or lack thereof. And also talking about a report by the state on Ridgely Avenue sidewalk.
Thank you. No other meetings? Alderwoman Tierney?
Yes, the Finance Committee meeting met September, I will tell you in a minute. That was September 7th, last week. We gave favorable recommendations to the supplementary appropriations that are on tonight's agenda, and we gave a unanimous favorable recommendation for the two ordinances, well, one being unanimous and 0032-22 being a 2-to-1 vote. And our next meeting is September 21st at 10:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderwoman Pendle Charles?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The next meeting of the Public Safety Standing Committee, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong date, is in, it's in September, but I don't have the date. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't go.
I am sorry.
So we'll come back with and announce that
Thank you very much.
date. Any other reports? Alderman Gay? I'm sorry? So are you ready for your presentation, or? Okay, Alderman Chattelmeyer.
Economic Matters will be September 21st, 6:30 p.m.
Thank you. Alderman Arnett?
Audit Committee meets next Monday morning via Zoom at 8 o'clock.
Thank you. I'll make the announcement for the Rules and City Government Committee. Our next meeting is on Friday, the 16th at 1 o'clock here in Council Chambers. All are invited to attend. Alderman Gay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
May I ask you, is this a committee report that you're giving now?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Awesome. So we meet, well, yeah, I'll give my committee report first. All right. We meet September the 20th, where we are still trying to decide if we're going to have our regular standing meeting at 6 o'clock or move it up to 3 to accommodate our colleagues. We'll have the Planning Commission there on a report on affordable housing. We'll have the Planning and Zoning staff present as well. We'll also have public testimony as it relates to rent increases over the last year and housing conditions, and we'll round it out with 04022, which is the workforce housing legislation. And we'll have the Planning and Zoning staff there to discuss that as well, to finally kind of put a bow on that. Also, I just wanted to quickly acknowledge and thank Denise Ruffin, Teresa Wallman, Laura Gutierrez, Erica Griswold, and Aaron Lee. We have the rental assistance security deposit fund finally established. We've created the guidelines. It should be out by the end of the month, and residents will be able to apply through the Office of Community Service for rental and security deposit assistance, and so that's huge. And we also want to thank our state partners for that. That got passed through the state delegation. Also quickly really wanted to thank Will Rao, Andrew Baker, Trisha Hopkins, and Tyra Kimbo for running our internship program throughout the entire month of August. We had 28 interns, and it went very well. And I want to thank the department heads for picking that up as well. And then I'll start with my presentation quickly. I thought this was important to come out of our committee, Housing and Human Welfare, as it relates to 04022, workforce housing. I had an opportunity to travel to New Orleans and tour the Iberville community and meet with some of the executives from the C&I grant that the city of Annapolis had applied for. And, you know, we've been approved, and we're in the process of working that for the Eastport Terrace and Harbor House communities. But what was so important and a great opportunity to experience in New Orleans is because it reminded me so much of Annapolis and so many of the issues that they face, with a lot of it being historic, huge tourist town, large minority populations in their public housing. And so what's special about the Storyville district that you see now, which is modernized and has a mix of mixed-use housing, it was one of the last new era housing complexes. It was originally called Storyville and was the city's only red light district in New Orleans, so a lot of crime, etc. It was later turned into public housing, and it had the name Iberville. And it was up until 2005, obviously, when Hurricane Katrina came, that they finally decided to close it. But as you see here, there are a lot of buildings left that still stand that are now on the National Historic Registry list, but they've utilized those and turned them into gyms and community gathering spaces. But the local community, Julian, if you could move forward just one more photo, because the sun's kind of in that one. I wanted to give a perspective of, right there, that's perfect, of the height and just the capacity of when you allow an increase in density, what it could do for communities. And my colleague has talked about this a lot. In each block, there were 68 units, I believe. You can't tell from the front how many units are in each building. They've also created the facade. I know that a huge thing that we love to claim here in the city of Annapolis, community character. That doesn't look like an urban or modernized apartment complex. And so I think they just did a very, very good job of making it fit into the scope of what their neighborhoods consisted of. And that's something that we've struggled with trying to find here. And I know it's extremely important in a lot of our affordable and workforce housing projects that, they look the part. And I just thought it was so important to just share these photos. And I have some more just about the trip and the experience and how happy we should be to have this grant. If you stop right there really quick, Julian, that was a school that was in the middle of the Iberville community complex. They completely gutted it, left the original facade, and now it's a senior facility, right in the middle of the public housing community now. And so we just have so much to look forward to with CNI, and I know the mayor's office worked very closely with HACA on that, and I look forward to jumping in there and getting the balls rolling on that. So thank you very much for allowing me to share that.
Thank you. I do have a question. How much of this was in the lower ninth?
So this is, now I'm not a New Orleans native, so I don't know the directions. But I do know there was a bridge, a very famous bridge that they use every year for Mardi Gras. And this was everything really to the right of that. And it bordered like Tulane, Basin Street. And it was a very large property. It just stretched, and they had, parks and football fields in the middle. They did a very good job. And the grant was for $30 million, I think, which was finalized, so.
Okay, thank you. Question, Alderwoman Tierney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick question to Alderman Gay. Alderman Gay? Hi, quick question. Are you saying that those buildings were in the historic district and they were used adaptive reuse, if you will, for affordable housing without changing, the height and the scale? They just kind of went in and gutted them and put them to good
Those
use?
that were historic, this was not in a historic district, but there were several buildings and graveyards that had been there for hundreds of years. One of the more famous ones, I think, is, I walked right by and took a bunch of photos, St. Louis, I believe. So that's right in the middle of the neighborhood as well.
Yeah.
And they had so many challenges, and the reason it took them so long was because they were catering to, the needs that we face here, tourism, and then, the need to make sure that it gels well with the tourist community, the historic foundation of their town as well as similar to ours, and then also the age of the public housing facilities. As I mentioned, this was one of the last new era project housing opportunities, in our public housing came just after that.
Yeah.
Although Newtown 20 had already been built. So,
Yeah, it's good to hear. There's a lot of efforts in the historic district to turn some of these existing buildings into hotels/inns versus trying to get some affordable housing in there. That would be great. But it's the market.
Oh, I think I'd be remiss if we didn't tout our own Bates Heritage
Yeah, there we
Park,
go.
because it too was a historical African-American high school and is now a thriving home for seniors, many of whom attended the high school, but there's also a senior center, there's a Boys and Girls Club, there are athletic fields, and there's a history piece, the Heritage Center. So we have one of the role models, one of the projects that others have visited from around the country to see, to understand how to redevelop a historical site into something that's very viable today. So thank you for bringing that to us. Okay, Alderwoman Pindell-Charles?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Madam Clerk. The next meeting of the Public Safety Committee will be September 28th at 4 p.m. here in council chambers.
Okay, thank you. No other reports? May we go on? Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is comments by the general public.
During comments from the public may not speak on any item scheduled for public hearing this evening. When providing testimony, you will only be allowed 3 minutes to speak. Legislation scheduled for public hearing tonight are only one, thought we had two. O2722, Public Services, Water Service, Billing, Waiving Late Penalties. And we have one speaker, Mr. Mike Green. You can step over to the podium. And give us your name and address, sir.
My name is Mike Green. I live at 342 Dewey Drive in Ward 2 at the Annapolis.
Make sure your mic is on.
Oh, okay. Before speaking, make sure green light is on. Thank you. So, did you hear me before?
You should probably repeat it again. I heard you, but whether the people in our ears.
342 Dewey Drive, happy resident of Ward 2.
Thank you.
Good. So I'm here this evening to talk about a group that I've been volunteering with since I retired to Annapolis in 2014 called the Arundel County Literacy Council. We provide free one-on-one tutoring to adults who need help with basic literacy and getting ready to take the GED, learning math, learning English, and improving their skills with the language. So it helps with self-esteem, strengthens family literacy, helps grandparents read to grandchildren, all kinds of good stuff like that. We do this all over the county, including with many citizens of Annapolis. We do it in libraries and other places like that. You might see us around, somebody sitting there talking to somebody else and helping them with the language. We meet with we do an initial assessment of the students. We match them with a tutor and the tutor and the student find times that are mutually agreeable to meet, and we do it at the student's own pace throughout the process. We provide all the materials for free, and we're all a bunch of volunteers. We're about 200 strong volunteers. We were founded in 1977 by six women in Glen Burnie, and we are our own organization. There are other organizations like us in other counties, but we are the group for Anne Arundel County that does this. So we try to be as flexible as possible and help anybody that asks for our help, basically, as much as we possibly can. Just by way of personal example, today I spent time with a student I've been working with for 3 years who, without jinxing anything, is about to pass the social studies part of the GED, which is his last part. And so we spent a lot of time on the Constitution today, and I'm really hopeful that this will be the time that does it. It's a process for this young man. And also today I met a new student who basically wants to get her GED because she wants to show her children and grandchildren that it can be done. So we're starting on the process with her. It's been very rewarding for me, and we try to make it as friendly and easy for people to do as possible. We have a website that's probably pretty easy to remember. It's called icanread.org, so ICANREAD. And you can reach us there. You can reach us by a phone number at 410-269-4419, 410-269-4419. And the big reason that I'm here is to plug our fundraiser. We do all this stuff for free. These books cost us money. And so we do a fundraiser. We apply for grants and things like that. And we've been fortunate to receive grants from the county and other sources. Next Saturday, the 24th of September, we will be having our second annual book fair, which is a used book sale outside the Discoveries Library in the mall from 10 to 4, and we'll be offering gently used books for $2 a piece, hardbacks, and a tote bag full of books, all you can fill in it for $20. So it's a really good way to get a bunch of stuff to read. And we'll be, I said 10 to 4, and all, of course, the proceeds go to benefit the purchase of these learning materials that we use, GED handbooks and more basic literacy tools that we used and that we give to these students at no charge. And also, we're always recruiting new teachers, new tutors, we call ourselves, and we're offering our one-day free tutor training on October the 15th coming up. So we're available for that too. So thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them quickly if I have any seconds left.
Mr. Green, before I call on my colleagues, I'm going to ask you to repeat your fundraising information for us.
Okay, thank you. Yes, the fundraiser is called our Book Fair, and it is on Saturday, September the 24th, so it's a week from Saturday, at the Discoveries, outside the Discoveries Library at the mall by the Crate and Barrel there. And we'll be outside there from 10 to 4, selling used books and filling tote bags with them, hopefully, for people. So a lot of reading can get done.
Are you accepting books also?
You know, we not right now. We're kind of done with that process. We're in the process of sorting them. 3 of our volunteers have their garages and basements full of books. So I'm afraid of what would happen if I showed up with more. But maybe next time, this is our second one of these. Maybe next time we'll try to get the word out earlier. But thank you, though.
Thank you. Alderwoman O'Neill?
I just want to put a shameless plug in, is that not only is Mr. Green involved with literacy, but he is a stellar volunteer for Food Fridays and has been delivering food to our community families for over a year and a half, having only missed, I believe, 2 weeks in that year and a half where he was visiting his mother in California. So thank you.
Thank you for doing that. It's a lot of fun to do that. So this is a lot of fun too. I'd encourage anybody that's interested in doing it. It's fun, it's rewarding, you get to meet new people. And the other personal thing that I didn't mention too is that about half the people I see are incarcerated over here on Jennifer Road. And that's extraordinarily rewarding. So I'm due there tomorrow, and I'm helping people learn math this week and do another student with basic literacy, and I'm also helping some non-native speakers improve their English. So.
Well, thank you, Mr. Green, for all that you do for us
It's a
in the
pleasure.
city and as well as in the county. Coming from a former teacher, I truly appreciate what you do.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that too. And I left a couple things on the table if people are interested. We have some bookmarks that can be used to hand to people who, if anybody knows anybody that is interested in this kind of help, I'd encourage them to call, leave a message on the number. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda? Oh, is there anyone else who'd like to speak at this time? Seeing none? Seeing no motion in the chambers, I declare comments by the general public closed. Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item is consent calendar.
Move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, approval of the consent calendar. Mr. City Attorney, did we read what? Okay, Ms. City Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Chair Finlayson,
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney,
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Aye.
Alderwoman Kendall Charles.
Aye.
Alderman Shonda Meyer.
Aye.
Alderman Gay.
Aye.
Alderman Arnett.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is supplemental appropriations over $50,000, beginning with SA 623, Transportation, Maryland Department of Transportation Revenue.
I will entertain a motion to approve SA 623.
So moved.
Is
Second.
there a second? Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'll hold that. Alderman Gay, you have a question?
I do, yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm reading this as a vehicle identification or vehicle location system for $68,000. I'm just wondering if we could be more fiscally responsible. You know, they sell these things called air tags.
We'd like to ask our acting transportation director, Dr. Dua. Okay, and clarification, this is a grant that we're receiving funding for, but Dr. Dua, could you?
Awesome, thank you. I appreciate that too.
Sure. Kwaku Ajimandua, Deputy Director and currently Acting Director of Transportation Department. This is a grant for automatic vehicle location system. It's different from tags and everything else. If you use the magenta buses on a free downtown shuttle, and you want to request or you want to know the location of that particular bus, you use the app. Currently, we call it Translog app. It can tell you where the bus is. So the idea is that you want to install that device on all our transit buses so customers can pull the green bus and find out where it is. In fact, when I was sitting here, I brought the app up and told me that my nearest stop for that particular bus is about 40 feet away. So it is a grant which requires 10%, which is $6,800, which is explained in the SA, and we are very excited about that. It's another way to improve the public transportation experience for our customers, and we are very grateful to M.MTA to make the grant available to us to be able to do that.
Thank you, Dr. Dua. Alderman Channelmeyer?
I use this app every single day trying to find out where my commuter bus is. It's awesome and a lifesaver, and it keeps you from standing outside on a rainy bus stop for 45 minutes wondering where your bus is when you could just stay inside, get some dinner, or keep working and go, oh, my bus is 5 minutes away. I'll run to the stop now. So anything we can do to do this is good by my vote.
Is this all? I'll ask you later because it's the grant. We're on supper, but I'm if this is already existing and we're asking for, have we used this to increase the routes?
We do have this device on the two buses on the downtown shuttle bus, downtown shuttle route.
So just on two buses? Okay.
Yeah, so basically we are extending it to all our buses, including the ADA. So even if you're going to pick up an ADA person, the person can bring the app and figure out where the bus is. In addition to that, if there is anything that happens to the bus, we can push out alerts that, well, the bus was supposed to be here at this time, because of accident or crash on the road, there is a detour. Or if something happens and we have to take the bus out of service, we will send out alerts so that if the customer is waiting, he or she has an idea why the wait is longer. So we see this as a significant improvement on the services that we do provide for all the people here in Annapolis. And I'm very excited about this one, just like any of the technological applications to transit. So I look forward to getting this project completed as soon as possible.
Well, we're all very excited. We heard in detail at the Finance Committee meeting last week the details of this program. It's definitely going to be an enhancement to our service. So thank you, Dr. Dua, for taking the initiative and seeking this out. The motion is to give a favorable recommendation to SA 623.
So,
To approve SA 623. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item is SA 723, Fleet Replacement General Fund Capital Reserve Revenue.
I will entertain a motion to approve SA 723.
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nays? Hearing none, thank you. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item is SA 823, APD Grant, Governor's Office of Crime Prevention, Youth and Victim Services Revenue.
I'd entertain a motion to approve SA 823.
Chair?
Could I get a motion on the floor before we discuss?
So,
Could I get a second? Thank you.
Second.
Discussion, Alderman Gay?
I'm just quickly asking, I read that, and when I talked to the police department, that this was urgent, as in they were trying to get it in October. So are we suspending the rules, or are we allowing this to just play out over the next month?
Well, we're approving this or giving a favorable tonight, so.
Oh, okay, good. Never mind. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. You're good. Further discussion? Alderwoman Tierney?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I just want to put my finance chair hat on and just make sure that we understand that this is adding 2 positions, and that's really important to note. And we have to look at those positions, because if they meet the requirements of the state mandate, then we have to look at adding those positions permanently. So I just want everybody to be cognizant of that.
I think we heard from Mrs. McCoy that there will be an opportunity to analyze the position, the effectiveness of it, as we go into next year's budget cycle, as to whether we would like to continue it, so.
That's correct.
Okay, further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nays? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is public hearing on ordinance O2722, Public Services, Water Service Billing, Waiving Late Penalties.
Okay, I invite speakers up who have signed up, and we have no speakers. If there's anyone else who would like to speak, please come forward at this time. Okay, I declare the public hearing on O2722 closed. Mr. City Manager, City Attorney. Oh, I'm sorry, Alderman Arnett.
Me too, please.
Which one? Oh,
2722.
Right.
Me too.
Me too.
Who's listed as sponsors already? Can you tell us?
You are.
Is it everyone, just me?
I thought I was already on it.
Me too.
You are now.
So you can also list me if
You
I'm not
all
on.
are now.
Okay.
Everybody,
All right, we're all listed as sponsors,
except for Rob.
except for Rob. He could call in if he can, if he's, never mind. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next items on the agenda are under legislative actions, beginning with first readers. The first one is Charter Amendment CA 222, Board of Elections of Supervisors for the purpose of expanding the Board of Supervisors of Elections from 3 to 5 members.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt CA 222 on first reader.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. I'll refer CA 222 to the Rules and City Government Committee and the Board of Supervisors of Elections.
Take the vote, ma'am.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, thank you. All right, Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is ordinance 03822, vehicles in traffic, stopping, standing, parking, parking spaces reserved.
Point of correction, we skipped one.
Yeah.
02522.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
Not skipping my bill, man.
Gotcha. I'm moving too fast. Sorry, Madam Mayor. The next item under legislative actions, first readers, is ordinance 02522, revenue and finance purchasing, procurement, prevailing wage, and local hiring.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none.
Madam Chair,
I will refer, Alderman Arnett?
please finish.
I'll refer 02522 to the Finance Committee.
But I was going to ask that it go to rules also.
I think it's more of a rules bill than the finance bill, personally.
Well, the code prescribes certain things to go to certain places, so we will not debate that one tonight. Okay. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is 03822, vehicles in traffic, stopping, standing, and parking, parking spaces reserved.
Is there a motion to adopt 03822 on first reader?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nays? Alderman Gay?
You got to finish the,
Yeah, go.
We just voted.
just want to make sure you finish.
We did vote. Okay, yeah.
I just had a quick question as it relates to the purpose or the intent, if I could, from the,
So, I'm not understanding you.
I'm just getting clarification from the sponsor. Is this to add more standings in handicap spaces, or?
Actually, that's a good question. This is actually hopefully to have less because it gives a resident the option of just getting a temporary one. They had knee surgery. Hillary, our constituent services, gets a lot of complaints about this. So if they're able to just get this temporary one, like it's similar to what the county does, and perhaps they won't get that long-term one and keep it forever unnecessarily. But that's not the objective. This is just to accommodate that request. And they have to go through, if you read the legislation, a whole slew of things and when it expires. So
Awesome. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Okay, I'll refer 03822 to the Public Safety Committee. Alderman Arnett?
Just as a matter of curiosity, the title of this does not seem to really relate to the actual content because this is temporary, excuse me, temporary parking for people with disability. And so it's kind of curious why it got the name stopping, standing, and parking.
Well, may I ask, Alderwoman O'Neill, are you familiar with this legislation? It's Alderwoman Tierney, but we had a discussion at lunch about it. That's why I asked. No, Alderwoman Tierney, if this is your...
As far as that question, I thought it was because that's the respective legislation that's changed. I might have to refer to the law office to answer that question on why that title is that title. Is that-
Okay.
Cynthia Roy
That's
can
the
give
question
an
on the floor.
explanation.
Ms. Reuters, could you help us out here?
That is the name of the code section.
Right. That we're changing, the existing code section.
Okay,
It's the official name of that section of the code.
all right, thank you. All right, Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item under, I think we're still in first readers, Resolution R4722, Tolson Street Park.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt R47 on first reader.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Hearing none. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is Resolution R4822, Tucker Street Park.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt R4822 on first reader.
So moved.
Second.
It's been probably moved in second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
I like mini park.
Question, Alderman Gay?
Is there a reason to change and add the amenities, or is it already, are they already existing parks? I feel like we've heard of the Tucker Street and Park previously when it was related to legislation and the boat issue.
I can tell you that Tolson Street is currently a park with a bench that the residents placed in there that is in need of repair and replacement. And so we would like to repair and replace it, as well as make it a designated park in the city.
Awesome. Thank you.
With a sign and everything. And then Tucker Street is an addition to what's currently there with the boat ramp.
We don't get, we haven't seen each other in a month, so it'd be ignorant for me to run through this and just vote yes without asking questions. So thank you so much.
It's more waterfront access.
I appreciate that.
Moving on.
Floating dock.
Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is Resolution R5222, a task force to study the city municipal election laws and make recommendations to improve city code, structure, procedures for municipal election.
I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Discussion, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Okay. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item is Resolution R5422, non-maritime use fee on waterfront property per city zoning code.
I'll entertain a motion to approve R5422 on first reader.
So move. Second.
Okay, discussion, hearing none. Oh, Alderman Arnett?
Yes, I'd like a financial impact report. I did a quick calculation for one of the marinas. This could be $170,000 a year. So I think we might want to know $1 a square foot doesn't sound like much, but it could add up to a lot of dollars. So I think it warrants a financial impact analysis.
So we'll ask Director Dickinson to provide us with the financial impact statement.
Yes, we typically do fiscal impact notes for everything. This one was a little complicated when I started reading it, so we're going to look at it a little bit closer. The fiscal impact note may be that we really can't determine what's going to be impacted because it's complicated to identify the space that's involved.
I do appreciate that, Madam Director, but on one hand, could be a considerable amount of money. On the other hand, it might be actually $1 a square foot, could be an onerous fee. So I think we're going to need more information to understand the potential impact. But I understand the complication.
I guess we could get a best case, worst case scenario.
I'm going to have to work with planning and zoning because they're the one that put the staff report together. And in reading it, it's complicated. So I'm going to have to get a better understanding of how to identify the property that's involved and what the minimum and maximum would be.
Eric to the rescue.
Thank you. We have to go to the expert.
If I may,
Would you identify yourself, please?
yeah, Eric Lashinsky, Chief of Comprehensive Planning. I did write the staff report, and just to reinforce what Director Dickinson is saying, it is complicated because this only refers to non-maritime uses above what properties can do by right. So they will elect to create these water access improvements, which then grants them in exchange slightly more floor area to use for non-maritime uses. So it's only going to apply to those properties that want to go above and beyond. That being said, I think the idea of looking at a couple of test scenario of properties would be probably pretty straightforward, I think. I think it just gets complicated when we look at the entire zoning district that it might apply. It applies to 3 different zoning districts on the waterfront. So, and I should also say, it's mentioned in the staff report, but the $1 a square foot assessed annually was calculated or proposed by Stephen Rice, Economic Development Manager, based on existing average rents in the maritime zones. The goal is to create funding in a new Annapolis Maritime Industry Fund, which was created in the zoning update adopted last October. And so that is to retain, expand, enhance maritime businesses in the city. So we were trying to find a sweet spot between funding that, but also not discouraging businesses from actually using the water access incentives. So that's kind of the calculation there.
So
Thank you, Alderman.
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor, please.
Any other questions for Mr. Lashinsky? Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'll call the questions. There's no more questions for him. All in favor of adopting R54 on first reader, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. R54 will be referred to the Finance Committee.
You're right.
Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item is Resolution R5522, proposed Greenberry Point Conservation Area Golf Course.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt R5522.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
I think we need to count the votes, please.
Yes, ma'am. Chair Finlayson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles.
Aye.
Alderman Shadowmeyer.
Aye.
Alderman Gay.
No.
Alderman Arnett.
No.
Okay. Resolution carries on first reader.
So it passed on first reader.
Yes, 2 noes.
All right. This item on the agenda is the next item on the agenda. That's your sentence, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't tell me to ask you what's next.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We got you, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is legislative action on second reader, beginning with ordinance 04222, business license, taxes and regulations, street cafe.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded properly. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of 04222 on, we're going too fast.
Yeah. Little teeny bit.
Whose amendment is
There's an amendment,
Okay, we do have a motion,
and it was seconded.
and it was seconded.
Now there's an amendment.
So there are amendments. Is there a motion to amend 04222 on second reader?
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
It's amendment.
Oh, may I move?
You're moving amendment
Number
In
one.
the absence of the sponsor, I'll move amendment number 1.
Yes, the Buckley Amendment.
The Buckley Amendment.
I'm not seeing the amendment.
It's in the,
Okay, it's not in here though, is it?
no, it's not.
Alderwoman Tierney's gonna read it.
Okay, Alderwoman Tierney's amendment, would you?
Sure, under chapter 17.42 sidewalk cafes, the objective of the amendment is to expand the definition of sidewalk cafe so it incorporates both the sidewalk and the street. And so the amendment language is, for purposes of this chapter sidewalk cafe means any area, 1, situated on a public sidewalk, or 2, situated on a portion of an adjoining public street that is authorized by a lease with the city, and where food, refreshments, and/or beverages are sold by a restaurant, delicatessen, ice cream shop, or a coffee shop, hereinafter, quote, operating establishment, end quote, for public consumption at tables or counters located on the sidewalk fronting the operating establishment, period. Sidewalk cafe shall operate only as authorized pursuant to this chapter.
Any discussion on Amendment 1? Did we approve, is there a motion to?
We haven't approved anything. We've got to approve the amendment first.
The amendment was moved by Alderwoman Tierney and seconded, so now we need an all in
Okay,
favor on the
so
amendment.
further discussion on Amendment 1. Alderman Arnett.
Thank you. I'm looking at the second option where it is adjoining the public street that is authorized by lease. I'm trying to understand, is that something that is not a sidewalk, but is leased by some entity for these food service purposes?
It's an extension of, correct me if I'm wrong, the city attorney, but it's an extension of the sidewalk cafe going into the street, that frontage.
So that would be Davis's?
Are they on a public street?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
They're not on the sidewalk, but they're in a public street.
right.
Okay, thank you. I do now understand.
Further discussion? Alderman Gay?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Just 2 very quick questions. The first being, and am I reading the second part correctly? I guess I read it as wherever I'm buying from, that would give me the authority to eat at their outdoor location or cafe, whatever we're calling it, or sidewalk cafe. So if I buy at one place, I can only eat at the place that I'm buying from. No?
I'm not sure if that's stated as such in here. That's sort of silent on that. Just assumed if you are a patron, you're a patron.
Oh, because it says for public consumption at tables or counters located on the sidewalk fronting the operating establishment.
Right,
But
sort of
before that, it says I'm assuming the operating establishment is the one that's authorized by a lease. So I was reading it as the one that's leased with the city is where I would sit, but I guess not. Thank you. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My second one, we'll get to the fee later. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the Tierney Amendment or Amendment 1, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is that the only amendment?
Correct.
Okay. So we're ready to approve O4222 as amended?
So moved.
All in favor, or discussion, further discussion? Hearing none? All in favor of approving O4222 as amended? Please say aye.
Aye.
Nays? Hearing none? Thank you very much. Now I would request a motion to adopt O4222 on third reader.
So moved.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor of approving O4222 on third reader? We need a what? Roll call. That's right. It's Regina's job.
Yes. Chair Finlayson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Aye.
Alderman Pendle Charles.
Aye.
Alderman Chandler Meyer.
Aye.
Alderman Gay. Alderman Arnett. Okay. That ordinance.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. The next item on the agenda is O 4322, issuance of general obligation bonds and bond anticipation notes.
All right, is there a motion to adopt O 4322 on second reader?
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of O 4322 on second reader, please say aye. Aye.
It's easy.
Madam, we need a motion to approve on third reader. I've only done this for, what, 15 years? And a second? Thank you. Madam City Clerk, would you call the roll and take the
Yes, ma'am.
vote, please?
Chair Finlayson.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tierney.
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles.
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer.
Aye.
Alderman Gay.
Aye.
Alderman Arnett. Aye. Thank you.
All right, Jody, go, Jody, go. Sell those bonds.
Mr. City Attorney, would you please present the next item on the agenda?
Madam Mayor, the agenda is complete.
Well, thank you. Is there anything else? Before I say that, I just want to remind the public that we will not have our regular meeting on the fourth Monday of the month. It will be next Monday, the 19th, here at Council Chambers, 7 o'clock. Alderwoman O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Two things. One, I want to report a very successful Farragut Farmers Market that took place at the stadium for 8 weeks this summer, July and August. We had over 500 attendees every week. We had presence from our fire department, which they left, but the kids loved being able to climb around on fire trucks when they arrived. And we're in the works for planning next year's to be bigger and better. A second project that we've been working on in Ward 2 is community gardens on Clay Street. We had a team of volunteers that got together and built 2 3-foot by 3-foot standing gardens, and they did plantings the weekend of August 21st, and the radishes will be ready next week, in the hopes that by next spring we will have doubled or tripled that number and have them placed throughout the Clay Street community. We're working on a couple of grants, and they are being co-sponsored by the newly formed, still forming, Clay Street Development Corporation Community something that was an entity up until 2010 when the founder passed away, and has not been revived since 2010, and is now being revived and will be an enhancement to the community.
May I ask, was the founder Bertina Nick? I think just by mentioning her name, the support will come. So good luck with that.
Yes. I know that the Clay Street Community Development Association, I think is what it is. It used to be Develop Corporation, and they can't do that. Is looking for volunteer board members and community leaders to join in their efforts to revitalize it. So we'll be looking.
Wonderful, thank you. Alderwoman Tierney?
It's for the good of the order, right?
Yes, good of the order.
I know we probably all read about it in the paper, but I think we really need a shout out to whoever was, I don't know all of the players for the concession agreement being executed. That's a huge milestone. And I just want the public to know how hard you worked, and it paid off in the sense that we will get a concession payment towards the infrastructure project at City Dock. So it's, Jody Dickinson can speak to it.
If you want to know the players,
Yes.
There were a lot of players involved, but from our side, we had David Jarrell, who was the city manager during most of that time period, Eileen Fogarty, our project manager, Mike Lyles, we had other legal assistants from the outside. It was me, and I think I'm missing somebody. I mean, just different departments depending on what was going on with the project. We had an outside attorney, outside financial advisor as well that helped us, as well as members from the city doc committee that helped us with some of our issues.
Thank you.
All right, well, I didn't take the liberty of welcoming everybody back because it wasn't in the mayor's notes. So I'm taking the opportunity now to welcome everybody back. We had a month hiatus, and I hope you all took the time to free yourselves from city businesses
I think we should all
long
show
enough
what we
to.
did next meeting. You should show your what the turkeys on the screen. You can show videos of our trips.
Yes, we all brought pictures back at our finance committee meeting. Mine was wild turkeys cutting through my dad's yard. But anyway, welcome back, and I hope we're all geared up and ready to work. And welcome, I think this is Mr. Malinoff's first official meeting as our city manager, so.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had a little cup of coffee just to keep me going.
Yes.
I'm used to these, but I asked Jody, all these meetings are this short, right? And I'm kind of fooling myself.
You know, I'm the whip cracker, what can I say?
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for all for attending and staying for the whole meeting, so. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Have a good evening, everybody.